In this month's edition of Edutainment, explorer Mikael Strandberg on being a good communicator, and Bleaching Green, the latest collaboration between IE School of Architecture and London's prestigious Architectural Association. Mikael Strandberg is an internationally renowned explorer with 25 years' experience. Thoroughly multi-talented, he is also a motivational speaker, tour guide, filmmaker, author, photographer and visiting lecturer at IE School of Communication. Edutainment caught up with Mikael the day before his student address at IE University's opening ceremony for the academic year 2010-11. We began by asking him, is being an excellent communicator a prerequisite for an explorer in the modern age?
Yes, I think you have to. It's like pretty much everything today. You have to be able to do, you have to be your own photographer, your own filmmaker, your own communicator, the lot. That is what life looks like today. And then definitely when it comes to exploration. And the world we are living in today, of course, when it comes to what I'm doing, there's a lot of PR stunts, a lot of bringing a famous person and you do a program now, even though this person doesn't know anything about exploration, then it's even more important that you're able to communicate well yourself. When you choose a life like this, you really want to communicate what you have. That is really important because for me this is a mission, and then people have to understand my point, and even if I can get help from others, they will never have the same passion or understanding that I do. So you have to do it yourself.
You've had some very intense experiences, freezing away across Siberia or cycling from New Zealand to Cairo, for example. When you come to communicate these experiences to the public, what do you want to communicate? Well,
so if I take the Siberian expedition as an example, before that I've been the old traditional classical style, do an expedition, come back, then you start communicating. But during the Siberian era, internet had arrived and somebody said, why don't you blog? Well, blog didn't exist then, but why don't you write a dispatch every second or third day? And I thought, yeah, why not? I'll give it a try. However, what I did not want to do was to communicate in the typical fashion of exploration or adventure. You know, I'm strong, I can see the end of the mountain, this kind of vision which is complete hogwash. So what I wanted to communicate was the people I came across, write about them, let them give the perspective of this is how it is like freezing your balls off. They do it much better than I do because they lived with it. So I didn't want to write about my own suffering or, you know, glorify myself when I know, you know, these people, they lived there for 5,000 years. What is so fantastic of me being here? Nothing really. The only thing I'm better to communicate PR-wise than they are.
Tomorrow you'll speak to the students at this year's opening ceremony. If they remember one thing, what do you hope that one thing is?
I really hope they understand that if you choose a life which is different to most other people, it is well worth it even though you take a lot of damage along the way being different. So if you have a goal, just don't listen to other people, follow your vision. That's what I hope they will understand. Because we need eccentrics, we need people with different thoughts who take different roads. If you look at it in a big perspective, look at what life looks like now. We are pretty much all the same. We say the same things, we look the same, which is, to a certain degree, it makes society function, but it's boring. We need more eccentrics. People are different.
And to finish, 5 quick questions. Favorite expedition?
Siberia.
Worst experience?
Diseases that you pick up. I had malaria for 2.5 years in Africa. That's very difficult.
Greatest achievement?
Being able to communicate with all kinds of people, no matter if they're presidents or Maasai.
Biggest failure?
Being a human.
The expedition you haven't done but would love to do?
I'd like to travel through the Arab world on a camel.
Now in its second year, the AAIE Madrid Summer School is a collaboration between IE School of Architecture and that of London's prestigious Architectural Association. This year's school went under the enigmatic title of Bleaching Green.
There is a culture which is evolving, a culture of dealing with sustainability and green issues, which is limited to the catalog material of solar panels or of dealing with the green as the ultimate goal of a sustainable society. And actually that has led to a lot of misunderstanding and literal answers.
What we're interested in doing in the studio with the idea of bleaching green is rethinking a model of conservative practice that presupposes that you fix sustainability or the environment at one idealized point. And we're interested in speculating on the future possibilities of responding ecologically, but doing so in a creative, imaginative and speculative way, as opposed to a conservationist and preservationist way.
And so bleaching green, artificial, natural systems coming together, instead of a pure, if we plant a tree it might help mentality that might actually not work.
Using Madrid's famous Gran Via as their case study, the students began to explore these urban sustainable challenges. With only 10 days to prepare their presentations, the studio-based design workshop looks set to be an intensive experience.
What I'm proposing is this isolation chamber.
Some kind of futuristic machine.
Micro biofuel cell.
Microclimate device.
Tree kind of structure.
There's a lot of high-tech stuff here. CAD software, laser printers, 3D printers.
It's very different.
It's open your mind.
I had to rethink the idea of green architecture.
You have discarded a lot of ideas, but that's part of the challenge. The time factor is essential since we only have 10 days and they're full on. So you have to discard ideas, but that's part of the decision-making process, which is also part of the skill that you get from the course.
When I was on the Gran Via, I noticed that it was no longer the theater district that it was created initially to be, but now a commercial district.
Looking at the social aspect of Gran Via, I came across that Gran Via has always been the place where all the marginal groups in Madrid have stayed.
There's two markets that are actually occurring on Gran Via. There's the marketplace that occurs inside the shops, and then there's the economy that happens on the street. So my project as a cultural critique is to create a temporary marketplace for these individuals.
What I'm doing is extracting white layer from all the surfaces. I'm putting latex on the surfaces, taking out all this layer of dust that exists, we don't really see.
I was quite interested in infectious diseases, so I was researching quite a lot on them. I thought, how about I took the idea of an infectious disease and created a marginal group out of it. So I'm creating a micronation within Gran Via with people affected by bird flu.
It's like I'm cleaning up the road in a way and then storing all those layers that are in the form of latex and storing them in a small alleyway that crosses Gran Via and then creating like a new canopy, a new, let's say, cluster of space where people can go through and actually for the first time come in touch with the product of our daily lives, which is the dust, the pollution.
The Gran Via in Madrid is the place. And the students have selected different aspects of Gran Via, but any of their projects, no matter how wild, how technologically forward-looking, there's always a dialogue with an existing building. There's a dialogue with the life on the street, with the people who use the Gran Via. So in that sense, no matter how forward-looking we think we are, the minute you talk about the physical built environment, you have to deal with the reality of place.
As the students wrestled with this reality, their ideas quickly evolved towards a more open-minded view of architecture.
The good thing about the course is that it teaches you that architecture is not about solving problems necessarily, it's more about asking new questions. And I think this course is exactly what it does. It makes you think about those new questions, it makes you be provocative.
My reason for coming here was to improve, learn more, but most importantly getting to this way of thinking, which is really, really important for architectural students.
It's just about making us aware of the potential we have as designers and architects and the tools available to actually do it. That we can do these things and it's not just about designing square buildings and all that.
These topics need to be explored, and I think that The broad range of perspectives that have been brought here from all across the world and all different types of disciplines has actually been very beneficial to have that be a very rich conversation.
The magic of it for me is without a doubt that on each level in this workshop you kind of enter into another domain, a kind of another atelier, and it's wonderful to kind of walk through the door and move into someone else's world.
As the whirlwind of guest lectures, workshops and design sessions drew to a close, the students gathered for their final presentations.
Apocalyptic tales of nature taking back over.
There's a laboratory where, of course, cures will be explored.
So I made this prototype.
It's a fantastic building. The structure is incredible. The general level of the students' work is very high. I think it's amazing that in 9 days, so many creative ideas not only can come out, but can be developed.
We don't know what we're going to produce, which is a real challenge for students of architecture to actually explore what we can do. And only in 10 days, how much we can produce, how much we can think about new issues we've never thought before.
It's been so intense, and it has happened in so little time. You've had so many, and we've had so many resources to tackle it, and so many possibilities in which to resolve it. The crowd that got together here, and the difference in nationalities, and the conversations, the constant conversations that you had over the topic, have been incredibly enriching.
We'll see you again next time for another edition of Edutainment.